they throw the cans of soup. That's better than a brick because you can't throw a brick, it's too heavy. But a can of soup, you can really put some power into that, right? And then when they get caught, they say, no, this is soup from my family. They're so innocent. This is soup from my family. It's incredible. And you have people coming over with bags of soup, big bags of soup, and they lay it on the ground, and the anarchists take it and they start throwing it at our cops, at our police. And if it hits you, that's worse than a brick because it's got force. It's the perfect size. It's like made perfect. And when they get caught, they say, no, this is just soup from my family. And then the media says, this is just soup. These people are very, very innocent. They're innocent people.
Watch a campaign with a man, Tim Kaine. Tim Kaine in the member. Kaine in the member. Tim 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 Kaine in the brain.
But it's a class action lawsuit against all machines and that they're defective devices, okay?
Seriously, hot sauce. I've been eating a lot
seriously,
of hot sauce. I've been
raw peppers and hot sauce.
Seriously, hot sauce. Seriously,
raw
hot sauce.
peppers
I've been
seriously, hot sauce. A lot of hot sauce. A lot of raw peppers and raw peppers.
Seriously, hot sauce. I've been
raw peppers and hot sauce.
Seriously, hot sauce. I've been
raw peppers and hot sauce.
Seriously, hot sauce. I've been
a lot of hot sauce.
Seriously, hot sauce. I've been
raw peppers. A lot of hot sauce.
Seriously, hot sauce. I've been
raw peppers. A lot of hot sauce.
Seriously, hot sauce. I've been
raw peppers and hot sauce.
Seriously, hot sauce. I've been
raw peppers and hot sauce. A lot of hot sauce. Raw peppers and hot sauce. Raw peppers and hot sauce.
Seriously, hot sauce. I've been
raw peppers and hot sauce. A lot of raw peppers and hot sauce.
Seriously, hot sauce. I've been
eating a lot of hot sauce. A lot of raw peppers and hot sauce.
For us to do what we have been doing, and that time is every day. Every day it is time for us to agree.
They had a very bad original concept. It was carried out poorly, and the cover-up was one of the worst in the history of cover-ups. It's very simple. Bad deal, should have never been thought of. Somebody really messed up, and they had the worst cover-up ever. And where it should have stopped is at the deal standpoint, when they thought about it.
I hate the white man. He's of the devil. He was made in a cave in the worst parts of Europe, produced from the lowest forms of humanity.
So, Brandon, I agree.
I'm about to be 34 and I have no family. Because be 34 and I have no family. I'm about to be 34 and I have no family. I'm about to be 34 and I have no family. I'm about to be 34 and I have no family. Because my dad had 2 kids by the time he was 27.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, you know what the problem is though? It's definitely not me. I think it's everybody else.
So today, on behalf of the United States, I want to thank every Olympian and Paralympian. And that was just incredible. And what happened with the Paralympics was so incredible and so inspiring to me. And I watched, it's a little tough to watch too much, but I watched as much as I could.
I don't know who created Pokemon Go, but I'm trying to figure out how we get them to have Pokemon go to the polls.
Hello, users, and welcome to another episodic broadcast, emphasis on broad, of the Above It All program. This is the Above It All program 1738, I think. I mean, that's a lot. Jesus Christ. I mean, imagine doing all this fucking shit, but also, like, imagine, like, watching all this fucking shit. Has anyone out here watched every single Above It All? Come on, don't lie to me. I know there's 0 motherfuckers out there. I mean, you can't even, because a lot of them have been deleted by YouTube because I'm so radical. So a lot of the episodes are just gone forever. So, but, you know, you had one chance to watch them all. And I know y'all motherfuckers ain't watching them all. But I did. I watched every single one. So, but anyway, so we got a show today. I've got a program today lined up. I lined it up. I lined it up just like Domino's, not to be confused with the pizza company. Did you know that Domino's pizza is bad for you? It's actually really bad for you. That shit's fucking horrible. But anyway, we got a goddamn here today. I've got some coffee here. Crazy Pizza Lady. That sounds familiar. So we got some stuff today. To talk about. So we're going to be talking about those things today. It's on the list. I got a whole, you can't see it because, it's facing me. I don't want you to see. I don't want any spoilers. I'm against spoilers. And so, no spoilers here. Anyway, got a show going on. So, yeah, that's my intro. That's the intro of the show. That's all I had prepared. On my note sheet, it says, we have a show going on, and that's the show. And that's all I got down. So, anyway, we're going to be talking about mass shootings today. Because as an American, it's just part of the daily life as an American. We just talking about mass shootings. Going to be talking about food on today's program. We got food that I'm going to be discussing. Food. Apparently today is Thanksgiving. I'm fasting today. I don't believe in Thanksgiving. I also don't believe in eating meat. Eating meat is a sin as far as I'm concerned. And I'm going to tell you why eating meat is a sin later in the show. And by that, I mean it's really bad for you. If you live in the United States of America, you are probably killing your immune system if you eat meat. So we're going to be getting into that. I'm going to be talking about cryptocurrency today. That's a hot button subject. A lot of people are, they're talking about it. So I'm gonna weigh in on that. I got an interesting thing to talk about. Going to be talking about coronavirus today. I love coronavirus. fact, let's jump right in. Just this is going to be my Thanksgiving segment. That's what this is. This is my Thanksgiving segment. So, coronavirus, COVID-19, the COVID-19 pandemic. So I saw this on Twitter. I retweeted this, whatever. So this is like a flight tracker image, and this is just what I want to have this image up while I do my segment here. That's it. I'm not going to be talking about any scientific study here. This is the Thanksgiving week flight, this is from 2 days ago or something. Like, just think about this, man. Okay. I'm sorry. I know. A lot of people, they live in the fantasy world that I wish I lived in. But, I'd love to remind everybody that we are in the middle of a pandemic. I covered on my show, if you want to go back and watch I did a Thanksgiving segment like 2 or 3 days ago. And I used more like statistics and data in that segment. So I'm going to be referencing a little bit of that. But if you want to go back and watch that, if you haven't. One of the foundational metrics that we use in the medical system when we build hospitals as a civilization and society, one of the main metrics that we use for building hospitals and deciding how many rooms are there, deciding how many beds are there, one of the main metrics and criteria is flu season. Now, what is flu season? Well, flu is a shorthand for influenza. It is a series of viruses that mutate rapidly. You might get a flu shot every year, whatever. But we base our hospital structures and systems around knowing that certain times of the year, there's going to be increased sickness and increased death. We know that. It's predictable. We can predict this. Now, why is it? What is flu season? Now, again, I'm talking about before COVID-19. I'm talking about before the pandemic, right? Americans have always been like this. The idea that the COVID-19 pandemic would be a surprise to anybody on how America and Americans have handled this, it would be shocking if anyone was actually surprised about the depravity of human beings. But anyway, about 40,000 people a year die of the flu. So what is flu season? Flu season is a combination of things. The cold weather allows the influenza virus to spread more easily. It allows it to, stay in the air longer. It allows it to, duplicate faster, etc. So that's the cold weather. Now, again, not every state in the United States and not every country in the world has cold weather. So again, there's multiple factors here that go into flu season. Why are flu rates going up in Arizona if it's not that cold in Arizona, right? But that's just one thing. In the wintertime, especially in colder areas and colder states, a lot of people are more likely to go inside. A lot of people are likely to be packed in like sardines inside of poorly ventilated buildings. Again, so we have an influenza virus that is more able to spread in the cold. Now, again, a lot of buildings have heat, but, again, it's more able to spread. And then you pack people in indoor, windows closed, poorly ventilated areas, and that causes a massive spread. But another factor that causes a massive amounts of death in this country is the holidays. Now, again, I say this as someone that does not like the holidays. I don't like the holidays. I think Thanksgiving is garbage. I think Christmas is garbage. I think all of this whole holiday season, quote unquote, is trash. I think people that celebrate it don't actually like celebrating it. They just do it because they want to make some random dumb fuck in their family happy. And it's just a sad state of affairs. Now, again, influenza killed about 40,000 people a year. We knew that. We knew how to stop it. We know what causes the deaths. We know how to stop it, and we do nothing. Now, again, I'm not saying you can't fly on a plane and go see your family, right? But think about this. If you just wore a mask on your flight, think about it, you would save tens of thousands of lives. Think about it. Americans are so fucking selfish that they don't want to wear a mask for like 2 hours, even though it would save tens of thousands of lives. Now, this is before the COVID-19 pandemic. Now we're in the COVID-19 pandemic, where we have a virus that is much more deadly and much more debilitating than the influenza virus. Now, oftentimes this can happen. The influenza virus can do somewhat medium to long-term damage to your body. If you get a really bad fever from the flu, if you that can do, you can have a long recovery period from not just the virus itself, but then some effects afterward. But we know that COVID-19 is a little different than influenza and how it does long-term damage to your body. We know for a fact that COVID-19 destroys the immune system, making it so that you will more likely get more other kinds of diseases, more other viruses more often. We know that COVID-19 destroys your brain. It causes brain damage, and almost everybody that gets COVID, they have some form of brain damage. And again, the recovery aspect, you can recover. You can have inflammation of the brain. It can do some damage. And then, a couple years later, you're back to normal, whatever. So that's a thing. But a lot of people so far, again, we've been in this pandemic for 3 years. Should have been 3 months, but Americans decided let's squeeze this one out, kill off 1 million motherfuckers. Americans are selfish, lazy, fucking just awful people. I hate Americans. I hate them at the core of my being, right? And earlier, a couple of days ago, I postulated that no one actually likes Thanksgiving. Do people act? I don't know. I'm a white person. I'm from a white family. I don't like Thanksgiving. Why? Because there's people in my family that are just fucking lunatics. Now, again, I don't know if that's a white people thing. I'm not sure. A lot of people have told it to me that, that's more likely of a white people thing. I'm not sure. I know white people on average are more likely to be crazy. But I don't like Thanksgiving. I know whenever I've been to a Thanksgiving, a lot of people, I can tell they don't want to be there. You know what I mean? So does anyone actually like this? I don't know. I really don't. And also, on the second thing, do people actually like their family? Really? I don't know. To me, having a good relationship with a family member, it's or not just a family member, right? But just the whole family, being part of a family where everyone cares. I can't imagine that. That's cartoon. That's fucking I'm watching a fucking Leave It to Beaver or something, right? That's not real. That's fantasy to me. But I guess it maybe exists. I'm not sure. But either way, just think about it. Think about the average American's ability to make decisions, right? If the average American truly and properly understood the consequences of their actions, do you think they would still do things like this? If the average American knew that a flight map like this would kill tens of thousands of people, do you think they would still go on a plane? I do. I think Americans are selfish and they're fucking awful, terrible, psychopathic creatures. So that's what my opinion is on Americans. So I think they would do this. But also keep in mind, most Americans, they think the pandemic's over. Why? The Joe Biden administration lied. They went on mainstream news in a big interview. Joe Biden said the pandemic's over, and people believed them. Can you imagine that? People listened to the words of a politician and believed it. That's crazy. That's crazy, but they did, right? So we're at a position here. The CDC is doing mass layoffs. Vaccinations are slowing down, and the money to fund future vaccinations is slowing down. Pfizer is saying that they want to charge people $130 per dose. Meanwhile, CDC is no longer tracking COVID cases the same way they did before. They don't really count community level maps or whatever. They have these weird fake maps on the CDC website where they created this fake formula that shows that everything is fine with COVID, but it's not. We have a lot of states where ICU capacity is reaching, in the 80 to 90%. And this is, again, before Thanksgiving. Now, again, as we saw last winter, last holiday season, we saw that we reached a point where there were 1 million cases a day in this country. 1 million cases a day last year. So what did the CDC do over the course of the year? Well, they knew it would be bad business for the United States of America if people knew that there were 1 million transmissions of COVID-19 every day. So what they did is they destroyed all the infrastructure so that we can't count the cases anymore. That's what they did. So now case numbers are not going to be as high as last year as the data is concerned. Now, again, fortunately for COVID-19, they don't care about math. They don't give a shit about what some dumbass politician said, should be the proper formula for counting these kinds of things. So COVID-19 is still going to spread. It's still probably going to affect 1 million people a day in some form, some capacity. Again, what's the difference between last winter and this winter? Less vaccination rates, significantly less. We're talking about significantly less. I believe the last number I saw as of like a week and a half ago for the bivalent booster shot was like 9% of Americans or so have gotten the bivalent booster shot. That's what I saw. If someone wants to update me, maybe it's increased a little I don't know. But it should be 90%. It should be 100%. We should have mandatory vaccinations. You should have a mandatory vaccination card present to get on an airplane, but we don't live in that world where science, logic, and facts make sense. And again, so we have less vaccination, a more deadly strain, a more infectious strain, less tracking, and less masking precautions. The CDC is specifically telling people to do everything in the world to prevent catching COVID-19 except for masking. If you go onto the CDC's Twitter page, they tweet out advice for COVID every single day. They tweet out advice for COVID. If you search their Twitter page for the term mask, you will not see any tweets that talk about masks since March of this year. Isn't that insane? The Centers for Disease Control is just covering up the most effective way of preventing transmission. They want you to get sick, they want you to die, and they want you to have brain fog and other neurological diseases for the rest of their lives, your lives, because then their buddies at Big Pharma and insurance companies can make a lot of money treating you. Think about it. A whole new disease. Think of the treatments. Think of the pills that can come out of here. Think of all the hospital visits that your insurance company can, make money off of. Think about it. Think about it. They don't care about you. And also, look at this map. You don't care about you. But why should people like me and other people that care about this pandemic have to suffer because you are a suicidal train wreck? Think about that. Think about disabled people. People that are immunocompromised, that if they catch COVID-19 has a very high likelihood of killing them. Think about that. Think about immunocompromised people that can't get the vaccine because of their disability, right? And so they're afraid to leave the house because of people like this. Think about that. They don't care about you. They don't care about you. Disabled people, not only does the average American not care about you, but they want you to go away. They want you to die off so they can stop thinking about you or people like you because that's stressful for them. Oh, why do we have to deal with these ramps? Why does every building have to have a ramp? Oh, God, I hate these. This is just, why do we have to wear a mask and wash our hands? Ugh. Right, that's the average American. So again, I don't know what y'all are doing today. I hope to God that people in my chat are being safe. And by that, I mean staying home. But, I'm sure some people in my audience are going to fuck around. And I hope that they don't find out. I hope the people in your family are not, below a 5 IQ. I hope. But I don't know. And maybe you won't tell me. Maybe you will. I'm not sure. But either way, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not eating any food today. I refuse. So that's my statement on Thanksgiving. I don't believe in it. I think it's a stupid fucking holiday. I hate my fucking family for the most part. There's I can count with one hand the amount of people in my family that I care about even remotely, right? And so, come on now. So, but anyway, when people get COVID in my chat, I hope I told you so. But maybe when you get brain fog and neurological diseases, I can manipulate you into giving me money or something because you'll be dumber. You know, that's the thing, is maybe I need a good portion of my audience to like lose a couple dozen IQ points, and then, you know, maybe I can cash in on that somehow. But anyway, there you go. That's the Thanksgiving, you know, that's that segment out of the way. I felt like I had to. So, let's go, Bodan. I agree. Bodan, have you subscribed to my Doom channel? I don't know if you have. Maybe you have. I don't know. But you haven't left a comment there, so I don't know if you know about it yet. Go subscribe to my Doom channel, everybody, if you haven't. I don't care if you don't like Doom, by the way, just to be clear. I'm trying to get monetized on this channel. Subscribe anyway. Once I get monetized, feel free to unsubscribe. I don't care at that point. But I'm trying to make money off of my Doom speedrunning, so check that out. That would, to me, like, you subscribing and enjoying my video game stuff is more important than giving me money. Now, again, I'm just saying, I'm just throwing it out there. You know, if you were to leave comments on that are like, you know, not, you know, oh, that was a cool thing or whatever. I'm just saying I would enjoy that more than like a $5 super chat. I'm just saying, I'm throwing that out there. But you can't fake it. I'll know if you're faking it. But there you go. So if you haven't done that yet, I would appreciate it. Did I see my comments on the Trump segment? Not yet. But I'll check after this, unless you just want to repeat them in the chat and I'll reply in real time. GOP will likely not nominate Trump as president because his candidate failed at the recent midterm election, all of them. See, I disagree, Bodan. I disagree. And the reason is that Donald Trump will lose in a general election. That's my opinion. Now, I hope that I'm right, but it's possible I'm wrong. Right? It's possible. But as far as the Republican primary, right? Like, you have to understand the Republican primary is the voters, right? The Republicans. And what are Republicans? They're crazy. They're crazy. They're crazy. Like, you need to understand, not you specifically, but just people. There is no such thing as an intelligent Republican. Republicans don't care about strategy, right? At all. They care about worshiping their leader, right? So I totally think Donald Trump will sail, you know, in the easiest way possible to the nomination. I don't think that's even if he already announced he's running. So everyone else, if they do run, it's only to boost their profile. He's going to win the nomination. So that's my opinion. Yes, strategically, they should not nominate Donald Trump, but Republicans are fucking morons. They don't, you know, like the idea that Republicans are thinking about strategy in any way, shape, or form. Because here's the thing. Does Donald Trump even need to win a general election? Think about this. Think about what they did last time Donald Trump lost a general election. Well, since then, in the 2022 midterms, there have been a couple of election deniers in red states and all that have won in positions of power. You know, election deniers meaning like Trump sycophants, right? So think about this. Does Donald Trump actually need to win a general election? To inflict massive damage on this country, which, let's be honest, what is Donald Trump's goal? To inflict massive damage on this country for his own personal profile and his own personal entertainment. Does he need to win a general election to have another January 6th? Does he need to win a general election? He's just going to pretend he won anyway, and that's going to cause even more problems. So, yeah, maybe he'll lose, and then he'll just do fundraising for the next 2 years and then try it again until the day he dies. That's my think. Bodan, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think Ukraine as a policy had any sway in the midterms. Like, as much as I wish it would, I don't think so. I don't think any American went into the voting booth and was thinking, the Republicans would want to defund the Ukraine. I don't think any of them. I mean, you have to understand, Americans are fucking stupid, right? Like Americans are going into the voting booth like, their inflation is like goddamn pocketbook. Like, that's when they're going, like, they're fucking stupid motherfuckers, you know? Like, I'd be shocked if, like, 1% of American voters voted on Ukraine funding in any way, like added as a part of their brain in any capacity. 1%, you know. But that's just my opinion. But again, Americans are goddamn dumb motherfuckers. They're not like the people that would watch my stream, right? If the average American would watch my stream, Jesus, you know. Anyway. So let's talk. Actually, let's move this here. So here's something interesting while we're talking about Donald Trump. This is a short video. There might be additional information that has come out about this supposed meeting. Not sure. But someone caught a video of Kanye West and Nick Fuentes walking out of the airport and toward Mar-a-Lago. Here's the video. I'll just loop it. It's just 8 seconds. Kanye West, Nick Fuentes. Now, you might not know these people. If you know one of them but not the other, I'll fill you in. Nick Fuentes is an incel. Now, again, I'm not saying he's a virgin. I'm saying he's an incel. Those are different things, okay? He hates women, and he talks about it on his show all the time. Nick Fuentes praises Hitler and references Mein Kampf as one of his favorite pieces of literature. Nick Fuentes has said that Hitler made mistakes. That's right. He made mistakes, but not the same kind of mistakes you're thinking of. Hitler was not right-wing enough for Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes has done streams and conferences where he has gamed out historical events of World War II and said if Hitler really wanted to eradicate, Jewish people, he would have done this, that, and that on this day or whatever, and he made mistakes and he should have done this if he wanted to complete the final solution. So that's Nick Fuentes. Now again, Kanye West has not said things that extreme, but he thinks them. There was a report that I saw that he wanted to name one of his albums Hitler. I don't know. That's weird. There's a report that I saw from someone that was friends with Kanye West that said that he routinely talks about Hitler in like a praising manner. But that is private. Those are, his friends who have seen his public behavior and have since cut him off and have said things about him. So it's not necessarily verifiable. So, but what he has said publicly is also really fucking bad. It's really fucking bad. Now again, Kanye West and Nick Fuentes, they're not just together, but where are they going? They're going to meet Donald Trump, the presumptive Republican nominee and former president of the United States of America. Two proud and avowed neo-Nazis are having a private meeting with the former president and presumptive Republican nominee. So, just throwing that out there. Just a little update in Hell World USA. So, and if you don't believe me, feel free to do your own research. But, just a quick little update. I think Kanye said something along the lines of Donald Trump is going to be his vice president. He's going to be president and Trump will be vice president. That would be funny. I'll tell you that much. Yeah, Kanye West, I believe, said, Adidas would never cancel me because I make too much money. And then, a week later, they canceled him. So, that's pretty funny. Alrighty. I'd like to say, by the way, just a real quick, my show yesterday, I had a hard time yesterday doing my program. I've received a lot of positive feedback on my show, both in the comment section and in private messages and so forth. So I just want to say thank you. I appreciate the kind words. I appreciate a lot of people spreading my video. I would really appreciate it. I think, I don't know. Obviously, I wish people share all of my content, but if I were to select something, I think yesterday's segment that I posted, the hour-long segment version, feel free to share that with people. Share everything, I say, but if you're not going to share everything, that one I would appreciate. So let's talk about cryptocurrency, cryptographic currency. Is there a long form term of currency? I know crypto is a shorthand, but anyway, I've got this article here that I think is a fun springboard to talk about crypto, and I'm going to use this springboard. There's been a lot of crypto news. Lots of exchanges are going through. Let's just say they're not going through a good time, right? Of course, a lot of people understand there are plenty of scams in cryptocurrency markets. Of course, there's plenty of scams in American capitalism. There's scams at the grocery store. There's scams in the stock market. There's scams at any store you're going to go to. Everything you buy is marketing and lying to you, right? Everything you buy, people are scamming you. People are selling snake oil everywhere. Supplement industry is a scam. Pharmaceutical industry is a scam. The medical industry is a scam. The food industry is a scam. So, of course, the financial industry is a scam. No shit, right? No shit. But again, a lot of people, they have this perception that every single cryptocurrency, by the nature of being a cryptocurrency, is inherently an evil thing. I think that that's a reactionary position. I think that that's dumb. And I want to talk about that a little bit. But also, I want to read this article here. A lot of people in my audience are not going to know who this person is or any of the material here. So again, this is just a springboard to talk about cryptocurrency as a whole over the last couple of weeks. So again, a lot of people have been focusing on the FTX thing. But I have this article here. Now, if you don't know who Vitalik Buterin is, he is the creator of the second most popular cryptocurrency called Ethereum. Now, I don't really like Vitalik overall. I mean, maybe, I don't know, I'm neutral on him. But he frequently goes out there and criticizes the crypto culture, and I'm going to use this as a springboard. So he says, now again, the creator of the second most popular cryptocurrency, he says, Bitcoin fans ignored El Salvador's undemocratic government. Now, El Salvador is back in the news. El Salvador's quote-unquote president, right, again, started buying Bitcoin when it was around $60,000 to $70,000 per Bitcoin. Now, if you don't know what Bitcoin's current price is, it's about $15,000 to $16,000. So, needless to say, not going well for the economy in El Salvador. Now, again, El Salvador does not have a very good government. You know that if you know anything about El Salvador. But again, a lot of cryptocurrency enthusiasts, and I use enthusiasts in a very, that's being extremely charitable. A lot of cryptocurrency enthusiasts are selfish, psychopathic, crazy people. In the same way that a lot of people that are on Wall Street and that work in the stock market industry are psychopathic and crazy. In the same way that a lot of people that work in almost any single business are crazy, right? So again, this is an infighting scenario. Vitalik has said a lot of really cringy stuff himself, but I just, I think that this is a good statement here. So I want to read what he has to say on Bitcoin fans, because I think that this is pretty good. Ethereum creator Vitalik Buterin has again criticized the Bitcoin community's enthusiasm for El Salvador and its president Nayib Bukele, saying that many Bitcoin advocates have ignored the fact that Bukele's government is not very democratic. Quote, this is one of my criticisms of the Bitcoin community. They just automatically love everyone rich and powerful who supports Bitcoin, Buterin said in a video interview with the Straits Times. According to the Ethereum co-founder, a lot of the Bitcoin people, quote, a lot of the Bitcoin people ignored the fact that Bukele's government is not very democratic, is a not very democratic government that has a lot of problems. And they're not that good at respecting other people's freedoms. Now, again, I would say a lot more harsh words for the government of El Salvador, especially the government of El Salvador's policy when it comes to Bitcoin. But, you know, I like it. I like cryptocurrency infighting. Now, again, this guy is the founder, creator of the second most popular cryptocurrency. So again, you got to factor in, does Vitalik want Ethereum to be overplacing Bitcoin? Maybe, I'm not sure. El Salvador was the world's first nation to adopt Bitcoin as legal tender, making it mandatory for merchants throughout the country to accept the largest cryptocurrency as a payment option. The move sparked widespread discontent among citizens and businesses. First announced at the Bitcoin Miami conference in June 2021, El Salvador's Bitcoin law. Now, again, this is a very, like, authoritarian law. Like, you know, it's not like a law that would be in the sense of the United States passing a law. This is pretty much, the guy wanted this, and he just greased all the wheels himself and just made it happen, right? Like, this isn't like, oh, you have to lobby Congress for 5 years. You know, like, this is some guy was like, yo, I have a good idea to make money. Let's just use the fact that I am in control of this country to make myself some money. So that's pretty much what it was. El Salvador's Bitcoin law has won Bukele plaudits from some of the loudest voices in Bitcoin. However, Bukele's regime has come under fire for its well-documented authoritarian tendencies and the forced nature of its Bitcoin rollout. El Salvador's Bitcoin law was introduced in the midst of the crypto bull run, with the price of Bitcoin peaking at a high of over $69,000. By the way, I think it's hilarious that Bitcoin peaked at $69,000. That's great. That's totally a Bitcoin thing. I think when Bitcoin goes above $69,000, it's going to go to $420,000, bro. I mean, come on. Since then, the crypto market has plunged, with Bitcoin down over 76% from its all-time high. This is the Bitcoin price today. Buterin opined that El Salvador's Bitcoin adoption model was based on an expectation that prices will continue to go up. But as Bitcoin ended up going down, quote, now it just looks terrible and not many people are using it. Quote, basically just the way Bitcoin adoption was done, very top-down and forced. It just ended up not being very sustainable, said Buterin. Despite the tumbling price of Bitcoin, Bukele's regime remains committed to the Bitcoin adoption. Just last week, the president announced that El Salvador would begin purchasing one Bitcoin every day. So again, I wanted to use this as a springboard to talk about cryptocurrency as a whole. Now, a lot of people know this. I own cryptocurrencies. That's right. It's true. The rumors are true. I own stocks and cryptocurrencies. I know. Can you believe it? I also have a gambling addiction. I know. But the thing about being someone that trades stocks or someone that trades cryptocurrencies is you have to understand 99% of this shit is garbage. It's garbage, right? You look at coinmarketcap.com, and again, there's like 5,000 like cryptocurrencies on there. I would be willing to bet that like 25 at best are like actual legitimate projects that have any value whatsoever. That's my opinion, right? So again, I'm saying that as someone that has cryptocurrency. There's a lot of people that use cryptocurrency as lack of regulation to steal money from people. Now, again, recently there's this fiasco with an exchange called FTX, which engaged in money laundering and basically destroyed their own company and is now like going bankrupt. And they did so with user deposited funds. Now, again, my opinion is I am in favor of regulation of cryptocurrency. I think cryptocurrency being regulated in the same way that the stock market is regulated would only benefit cryptocurrency as a whole. Let's be honest. Again, there are not, I don't even know, like maybe I'm going to look at CoinMarketCap real quick. Maybe there's like fucking 30,000 fucking things on here. Like, again, there doesn't need to be 30 fucking thousand cryptocurrencies, okay? There just doesn't need to be. I don't even know how to, where is it? 21,000. There's 21,000 cryptocurrencies on coinmarketcap.com. So again, 21,000 cryptocurrencies. At best, At best, there's 25 of them that have any value at all above 0 at best, and that's being charitable. Now again, the cryptocurrencies that do have value, what is their value? Well, sending money internationally. I have sent cryptocurrency to people in other countries. Avoid certain fees with payment processors. A lot of payment processors. Western Union, that kind of stuff, how you send money internationally. A lot of them take large fees. Cryptocurrency can alleviate or ameliorate those issues. That's one value of cryptocurrency. Buying drugs online is another value of cryptocurrency. For all the transgender people in my audience, there's a lot of ways that you can buy do-it-yourself hormone therapy with cryptocurrency. So again, cryptocurrency does have a value. Anybody that wants to tell you that cryptocurrency is entirely a scam or has no value, they're either ignorant or lying. Let's just be honest. They're ignorant or lying. It's just that simple. In the same way that, most of the stock market are scams. Absolutely. Most companies, most business are scams. But, of course, there are going to be some companies that are actually trying to do something useful, and that should be, encouraged while we live in a capitalist society. Now, of course, overall, we should abolish money. We should abolish the stock market. We should abolish all forms of currency because it's, at its essence, made up garbage. Money doesn't exist. The US dollar doesn't exist. Any form of currency doesn't exist. And it's all being manipulated by the owners. The US dollar is being manipulated by the US government. The Russian ruble is being manipulated by the Russian government. Bitcoin is being manipulated by Bitcoin whales, right? All of these kinds of currencies are being manipulated by the people that control them the most, right? So again, I think money is, as a concept, really bad. But I live in a capitalist society, so you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to throw some money at the slot machine every once in a while. But again, one of the big things that people need to understand is that there are a lot of scams on the internet, right? 70% of email traffic is spam. It is people trying to collect your information, to phish you, to find your logins, to get all your bullshit, right? That's what the internet is. The internet is the scam world. I mean, going on the internet in the early 2000s, in the 1990s, again, I was born in 96, so I'm only going off of historical information here. I don't have a lot of firsthand experience with the internet. I didn't get the internet until I was 15, so. In the 1990s, the internet was a little niche, but then in the 2000s, it started, the aughts, it started to get more popular, and then all of a sudden, mid-aughts, you have everything on the internet, pop-ups, spam, viruses that are going to destroy your computer, all of that fucking shit. That's just the nature of the internet. Now, again, things have gotten a lot better. Antivirus software has gotten a lot better. Ad blockers have gotten a lot better. So we have made progress. But cryptocurrency is kind of like one of those worlds where it's kind of like a reset, in the same way that the internet in the late 90s, early aughts, mid-aughts was kind of like virus city. It was scam city. It was like you buy something and does anyone know a parent that tried online shopping in 1999 and then nothing ever came, but they took their money, right? It's the same shit. It's just in a different timeline. So my opinion, we got to regulate cryptocurrency. We got to regulate the stock market. We got to regulate them all much better, much stronger. That's what I support because I think it's better in the long run. Again, according to CoinMarketCap, there's 21,000 cryptocurrencies. I'd be like, come on, right? Come on. So just throwing that out there. Again, a lot of cryptocurrency enthusiasts, and again, enthusiast is a very charitable term, are crazy ass motherfuckers. They're lunatics. But again, most Americans are lunatics. Most people that really like money are lunatics. Most business people are lunatics, right? So again, you got to keep all this in mind. But I love cryptocurrency infighting. I think it's hilarious when people that are in the cryptocurrency community yell at each other for that kind of stuff. A lot of people in the cryptocurrency world have this weird libertarian ideal, and then a lot of them are just in it for the money, and I think it's hilarious. Personally, I use cryptocurrency, again, for the values that I stated earlier, buying drugs on the internet, potentially buying hormones on the internet if I need them for medicational purposes, sending money internationally without getting my money stolen by a bank, etc. And I use it for gambling. I love gambling, right? Boo! The chart goes up and down. That's fun. I love that shit. So again, just throwing that out there. But of course, if you are going to get involved, it's better to get involved in a bear market than a bull market. So I'm just saying, throwing that one out there. But, you know, of course, do your own research and all that shit. But there you go. I used to go to Vegas for conferences and I loved it. But I went when you could carry around a bucket with quarters and have black fingers. What the fuck are black fingers? What? Yeah, I was actually looking into this earlier. Like a couple days ago. And apparently, yeah, like slot machines don't have the crank anymore. Like, what the fuck? Like, why would you use a slot machine that doesn't have the fucking crank? You know? Like, that's the only good part of the slot machine, is the... Yeah, like, oh, boop! That's not fun. I'm sorry, that's not fun. Boop! Boop! That's not fun, I'm sorry. Like, objectively speaking, not fun at all. Like, I don't even care. Like, they want to make it all electronic, maybe, like, just a screen. Just have the crank there. Just have it anyway. Just have the crank be the, like, input, you know, like a keyboard or like a mouse. Like, what is a mouse? It's an input device, right? You press the mouse button and an action happens on your computer, right? Why not just have the crank be the button press? You know what I mean? Boop! That's the funnest fucking shit in the world, man. So, there you go. Even the crypto skeptics are completely missing the real story. Don't talk about regulated blockchain technologies. Talk about blockchain technologies being used to regulate us. Tell me more about your opinion on that. Right, environmental coffee, yes, I understand. Okay. So, I don't know what I want to talk about next. I've got a food story, and I've got mass shooting stories. So, if anyone wants to, you know, do you want to end on a food story, or do you want to end on the mass shooting story, right? Like, that's end on a bad note, or end on a really bad note? Because the really bad note is the food. So, think about that. I'm going to do both. Yeah. Anyway. The Colorado Springs nightclub shooter, who is insisting that they're non-binary. Ha ha ha! I've never heard of 4chan. What's that? But anyway, their father was interviewed by a local news station. And I just want to say this. I want to foreground with this. This is a groomer. Now, again, we have a lot of fucking, you know, a lot of people want to say groomer this, groomer that. You're a groomer. Now, again, what is the dictionary definition of a groomer? Someone that either engages in a sexual relationship or a semi-sexual relationship with plausible deniability with someone under the age of consent. Some states or some countries is 16, you know, it's usually 18, with the intent to engage in a sexual relationship once they reach the legal age of consent, therefore not violating any laws technically. Now, again, the right wing, they have thrown that definition out the window. They threw the definition out the window. So I say it's fair game. If someone reading a book to a child is grooming, well, then so is this. Let's watch.
Well, you guys had conversations about that. You were.
Oh yeah,
you
I was
told
adamant.
him. Yeah, you were adamant that gay is
this ain't
bad.
happening. I'm a Mormon. I'm a conservative Republican, and we don't do gay. We don't do gay.
Yeah.
I can't get answers from the attorneys really, but they're saying that somebody's, you know, it's involving a gay bar or some shit. I don't know. I don't know what the heck he did at a gay bar. I don't know what's going on.
Well, he's accused of going on a mass shooting at a gay bar and killing 5 people.
Colorado.
Okay, well, that's shit. If he's accused of doing that, I'm he's not gay. No,
Did you hear that? I know it's kind of hard to understand what he's saying through the meth mouth, but what he is saying is that whatever, mass shooting, as long as he's not gay. That's what he said. Fuck it. Killed a bunch of people for being gay, that's fine, as long as he is not gay. Now again, we have thrown the original definition of grooming out the window. So if someone reading a book to a class of like kindergartners or first graders is grooming, then telling your child that being gay is bad their entire life, and then when they're 22 years old, they go and murder a bunch of gay people because they're gay, that's grooming. This man on your screen right here with the motion blur and the meth mouth groomed his own child into becoming a mass murderer. Now again, what did he say? We're Republicans, we're Mormons, we don't do gay. He would rather his kid be a mass murderer and a terrorist than be gay? If this is not grooming, well, there's more.
Against homosexuality. I praised him for violent behavior really early. I showed him that it works. It's instant, and you'll get immediate results. And you'll always get what you want if you're good at fighting.
Had you taught him more tolerance, let me be direct. Do you think, he would have been more tolerant of gay people? Apparently. I think that my anti-gay, anti-schematic that comes from conservative writing, I'm a conservative extraordinaire, and I've been very vocal about that. I support Randy Vopel for his grandpa. I love Randy Vopel. He's a good American. Hopefully he'll be president someday. Randy who?
Randy Vopel.
Randy Vopel. Randy.
That's a good man right there. That's the best man for the job.
Mm-hmm.
It was okay to be gay. It's like he says now it's like it's cool to be gay. It's not. I think it's not cool at all. I think it's my opinion about gays is that it's just not okay. I think we should stand up against homosexuality. I praised him for.
Notice this.
It's just not okay. I think we should stand up against homosexuality.
We should. So again, from a very early age, this mass murderer's father taught them to be violent and taught them to hate. I should be very specific. Taught him to be violent and taught him to hate gay people. From a very early, he says it himself. Can you imagine this fucking shit? This is cartoon character stuff. This is crazy. The mass murderer's father is proud of his son for going on a murder spree as long as he wasn't gay. And they say that on TV. Oh, my kid killed a bunch of gay people? Great, as long as he's not gay himself. Now, I need you to understand, this is what Republicans are. A lot of Republicans, they cloak their feelings. This guy, again, he's not cloaking his feelings. He doesn't care. He is saying what he believes, and he's proud of his son. He is proud. He is proud. He taught his son to kill. He trained his son to kill. And he trained his son to collect targets and to find targets to kill. And he is proud of him. This is the Republican Party. When Republicans talk about bringing back the family, when Republicans talk about traditional family values and structure, this is what they inflict on their children. This is what creates people like Kyle Rittenhouse and all these other mass shooters that we've been seeing. This is the culture that they are born and raised in. Violence from an early age. Violence and hatred of minorities. This is fucking crazy. Now, again, there's a full interview you can watch. It's a little longer. There's some other nuggets in there. But again, this is who we're dealing with. This is the Republican Party. Now, again, all the faults of the Democratic Party, most Democrats don't teach their children to love violence and hate minorities. Some of them do, or one A lot of Democrats maybe teach their children to hate minorities. They won't say, hey, maybe gay people are evil, but they'll say, as long as you're not gay. You know, Democrats also can be garbage. But this is Republicans. This is the Republican Party. This guy, again, is proud of his child for committing a mass shooting of queer people. This is grooming. This man had a child, groomed that child into becoming a terrorist. If you have a Republican in your family, stay away from them. If you have a child and there's a Republican in your family, don't let your child near them. This is the Republican Party. These are groomers. These are evil and sick fucks. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention the religion. This is religion. This is what religion does. Conservatism is a religion, but also he's Mormon. This is what a religion does to people. This is what religious indoctrination does. Mormonism, evil. Christianity, evil. Islam, evil. Judaism, evil. They're all fucking garbage. This is what religion does. Don't fuck me with your stupid, but not all Mormons, man. Go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. I don't want to listen to you enable monsters that target me and my kinds of people. People like me. We have been targeted by religious people forever. Forever. Not just for decades, but for centuries. Religious people have tried and succeeded in exterminating people like me. Forever. We have been exterminated from history. Why do you think people get confused? What's with all this gay stuff? Back in my day, there wasn't gay. We didn't have gay people in the 80s and the 70s. We didn't have the gays. People actually believe that. What's with all this trans stuff? When I was growing up, we didn't have the trans. Imagine this. Now again, never mind. But just again, us trans people, gay people, have been systematically excised from history. We've always been here. We've always been around. You can find evidence in some cultures. There are some things that have stayed, right? You know, like there are some historical accounts of like 10,000, 15,000 years ago of transgender people existing and being revered or being, you know, like, wow, this is a really interesting thing of, you know, again, homosexuality was actually pretty popular in ancient Greece and so forth, right? But you see, that's a long fucking time ago. There's like a 5,000 year gap in queer history. How did that happen? Religion. Religion. That's how that happened. God. The God people. They have exterminated people like us for thousands of years, and they have rewritten history so that people alive today think that this is a new thing. And if it's new, it must be bad. Now, again, a lot of the free speechers love to use Nazi book burning analogies. You know that famous photo of the book burning by the Nazis in the 1930s? What books were being burned? One of the first book burnings by the Nazi Party and their supporters was from transgender and gay research clinics, medical clinics, that would provide research and healthcare to people that were gay or transgender. Nazis targeted them, destroyed all of their research, destroyed all of the information that they had gained, And that is the photo. When you think of the photo, I know everyone in this chat, everyone on the internet has seen this photo of the Nazis in the circle with the stack of books on fire. What are those books? Transgender and gay medical science and research. Their goal was to exterminate us from history. Nazis, when they gained power in the 1930s, they would go on expeditions all across the world. You might not know this. This is somewhat forgotten history, okay? They wouldn't just do book burnings in Germany. They went all across the world to gather and collect religious artifacts, historical artifacts, and in doing so, destroyed significant amounts of historical artifacts. Now again, we don't know what they destroyed. Why? Because they destroyed it. Could they? We know for a fact that they burned the books about gay and trans people. We know that for a fact. So it's not much of a speculatory leap to assume that when they did go, we know for a fact that they went on international crusades to collect historical artifacts and to destroy certain historical artifacts. So it's not much of a stretch to assume that they would have done that with gay and trans history. And this is what we're still dealing with. This is a neo-Nazi. This person's entire ideology is in lockstep, or should I say in goose step, with the Nazis of the 1930s and 40s. These are Nazis. Republicans are Nazis. That's it. If you have a Republican in your family, I don't care. Baby, population, goddamn Trump's gonna save the working class. Whatever excuse they come up with, they are a Nazi. I'm sorry. Actually, no, I'm not sorry. Yes, every single Republican is a Nazi. If you are in a room with 10 Nazis, you yourself do not identify as a Nazi, but all of your friends are Nazis, they support Nazi policies, they support a Nazi agenda. If there's 9 Nazis in a room and 1 non-Nazi in a room, how many Nazis do you have in that room? You got 10 motherfucking Nazis. Every single, without exception, there is no exception. Now maybe, if you would have asked me 10 years ago, theoretically, hypothetically, I could come up with one possible person that's a Republican voter and not a Nazi. That was 10 years ago. Nowadays, the only people left in the Republican Party are Nazis. And again, they might not identify as them, but they enable them. Hey, I'm not a Nazi. I just vote for Nazis and fund Nazis and give Nazis my time and money and energy and organize on behalf of Nazis. But I'm totally not a Nazi, bro. So, just think about that. When we talk about groomers, remember this guy when we talk about groomers. Andrew Kohler, $5 super chat. Quote, that was only a prelude. Were they burn books, they burn also in the end people. Heinrich Heine, 1797, 1856, from his play Al-Mansur. Thank you for the history there. I appreciate that. But anyway, there should be where they burn books. Yeah, see, there you go. Goddamn, Andrew Cole. I was thinking, am I the idiot? This is the fucking college professor fucking writing. Am I the idiot? Did I not understand? No, you're another example of Andrew Kohler super chat being, needless to say. Hold up. I'm looking for it. Hold up.
No good. No good.
Hey, I didn't say it. Many people are saying. Oh. I have a question. Let's imagine you're a mass shooter, or at least you're someone that's going to commit a mass shooting. Let's imagine it is the week of Thanksgiving. Imagine committing a mass shooting on like Wednesday instead of Black Friday. Hey, I'm just fucking saying, yeah, we're going to be talking about the Walmart shooting. Like, just think about it. From the mass shooter's perspective, you couldn't wait a couple more days? Hey, I'm sorry to make the jokes, but someone's got to. U.S. Walmart shooting. Manager kills 6 at Virginia supermarket. The idea of calling Walmart a supermarket, that's pretty interesting. A longtime manager at a Walmart store in the U.S. state of Virginia has shot dead 6 people and injured 6 others. Depleted Uranium Cowboy, $5 super chat. Love you, Andrea. Thank you. I appreciate it. Officers were called to the busy branch in Chesapeake after the gunman opened fire on colleagues in a staff room. Now, again, this is a manager. Maybe they didn't want to kill regular people. Maybe they just wanted to kill employees, so that's why they didn't wait till Black Friday. I'm just saying, okay? Just had to make a joke. Now, I just want to say this much. I have said multiple times that I used to live in North Carolina. When I lived in North Carolina, I lived on the, northern side of North Carolina, about 30 minutes from the Virginia border. Chesapeake is also about 30 to 40 minutes from the North Carolina border. I have been to this Walmart. If you look in the background here, I have been in this parking lot. I know what this Walmart looks like. I have been here. I have been to this Walmart. That's crazy. This is like the first mass shooting I've ever seen where it's like, I have actually been inside of that building. I have shopped in this Walmart. I have purchased Yu-Gi-Oh cards at this Walmart. I have purchased Pringles at this Walmart. Yeah, that's right. Anyway, that's crazy shit. When I saw that mass shooting in the Chesapeake Walmart, I was like, what? 'Cause I know people that live there. They could have been at that Walmart. I don't know. Maybe I should make some phone calls. I'm not sure. He then turned the gun on himself and died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Officials say there's no clear motive for the shooting. Police are not searching for anyone else in connection with the attack. The police have identified the gunman as 31-year-old Andre Bing, like the search engine. They said he was armed with a handgun as well as multiple magazines. Now, I just want to say this from my perspective. Step 1 is there's a mass shooting at a place you've been to. What's the next step? There's a mass shooting at a place I'm at currently? Right? Like, fuck. Or maybe there's an intermediate step where there's like a mass shooting in the town that I'm currently residing in as I'm here. Because I don't live in North Carolina anymore. So, I'm far away from that place now. Thank God, right? But Jesus Christ, It's crazy shit. I'm scared, man. Now, I just want to say, I'm just curious. How many people... There's been a lot of mass shootings, right? I'm sure this has happened to other people. But how many people I've seen in my chat right now, or if you're watching the video, leave a comment. How many people have had a mass shooting happen at like a store that they frequent? Or have frequented in the past or have been to? Because this is the first time for me that there's been a mass shooting somewhere that I'm very familiar with. So, I don't know, man. That's scary. That's scary. And I'm sure a lot of people, have been in that position too. But that's fucking scary. Walmart said he was an overnight team lead who had been employed there since 2010. We are focused on doing everything we can to support our associates and their family. Fucking associates. By the way, thank you, Sandy, for the membership renewal. Of the 6 injured, 2 are known to be in critical condition, while 1 is in stable condition. The first call to police was made at 22:12 local time on Tuesday. The fuck? I guess this is the BBC, right? I'm reading this on BBC, so they're telling us GMT. I was like, who the fuck cares about? But okay. The first call to I already read that. They entered the building shortly after, and the scene was declared safe around an hour later once it had been cleared of the 50 people who were inside at the time. All the victims have been located. Processing the crime scene would probably take several days. Police chief, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, we don't really know the motive yet on this, and it's possible we won't know because they killed themselves. Who knows if they had any sort of, internet history or like a notebook in their bedroom. We're like, we don't know that yet. So that's crazy. That's crazy. Another Walmart shooting. And again, I'm just left wondering, Black Friday is in 48 hours, motherfucker. Can you wait? But hey, I don't want to make jokes, but I'm going to anyway. Someone's got to. Someone has to say it. So I'm gonna be the lightning rod for all the comedians out there. Someone had to say it, so there it is. I said it. Why didn't this motherfucker just wait a couple days? Hey. But anyway, God, that's fucked up. Jesus. Virginia Tech, Mall of America. Bodan, you love Snack Attack. It's a good thing I don't eat sugar anymore. I used to have a little bit of a sugar addiction. Yesterday I was at a nail place and the dude was praising Black Friday because people with grandchildren can't afford stuff until that day. That is sad. That's sad that like capitalistic corporations have that much of a hold on people. And that people feel the need to like buy stuff for their grandkids for Christmas, like they feel compelled to do so even if they can't afford it. My grandparents, my parents, yikes, right? My grandparents were a lot nicer to me than my parents when I was growing up. But for Christmas, they would get me a lot of stinkers, let me tell you. A lot of stinkers. Who the fuck gives a fucking 8-year-old socks for Christmas? I don't know, man. I'd rather have the money that you spent on those socks, if you know it, But... So I'm just saying, So I'm sure that the people that you were talking to, Sandy, I'm sure that they're gonna go buy some stinkers for the grandkids. So, I don't feel too bad for them. Oh. It's a stinker of a present, for sure, Bodan. Like, if you get me, like, a t-shirt with, like, whatever on it, or, like, pants or something, that's at least more usable. But socks? Really? I've gotten socks many times. Now, again, I love my grandparents, and they've gotten me some really good presents, too. But I'm just saying, it's the slot machine. Boom! Socks, right? Oh, fuck. Maybe next year? Violence and Black Friday go hand in hand. Yep. All right, y'all. I've got one more story I want to talk about. And we're going to jump into this. I have a lot to say, as usual, when we discuss food-related subjects. I always have a lot to say. So this is an article from The Guardian. To all my carnivorous friends out there, and I use the word friends very loosely because, let's be honest, you're kind of a fucking scumbag. But hey, okay, whatever. You are killing yourself. If you live in New Zealand and you're eating some like fucking grass-fed whatever the fuck, I'm not talking to you. Shut the fuck up. If you live in the United States of America and you eat meat, you are killing yourself. McDonald's and Walmart. How many people buy their food from Walmart? McDonald's and Walmart beef suppliers criticized for reckless antibiotics use. Now, let me explain. A lot of you might not know what that means, right? If the headline would have said Walmart beef suppliers had like rat turds, you might be a little bit more disgusted. You might not know what this means, reckless antibiotics use. So I'm going to explain this to you in the form of reading an article. Suppliers of beef to McDonald's, Taco Bell, and Walmart are sourcing meat from U.S. farms. They use antibiotics linked to the spread of dangerous superbugs, an investigation has found. Unpublished U.S. government records obtained by the Bureau of Investigative Journalism and The Guardian show farms producing beef for meat packing firms Cargill, JBS, and Green Bay are risking public health by still using antibiotics classified as the highest priority critically important to human health, HPCIAs. Such drugs are so essential to human medicine that their use in livestock farming should be stopped, the World Health Organization has warned. HPCIAs are often the last line or one of limited treatments available for serious bacterial infections in humans. It has said the overuse of such antibiotics means they can become less effective. Now, again, you might still not understand why. So let's read this. This is a quote. The reckless overuse of medically important antibiotics on factory farms is a major contributor to the deadly public health threat, said Cory Booker, a U.S. senator who has advocated for stricter controls on how antibiotics can be used in food production. Now, again, this is one of the very few instances where Cory Booker has a really good opinion on it. Isn't Cory Booker a vegan? Or is he a vegetarian? I know he's got some good takes on this one, so I'm just saying. Giant agribusiness have built a system that is dependent on the misuse of antibiotics to maximize their profits with no regard to serious harm they are causing. There is no ban on using antibiotics for treatment or prevent disease, although farmers now need a veterinary prescription for many medically important antibiotics. Now again, the United States does not care about you. They don't care about you. They want you to get sick. They want you to die. As long as you die before 65. That way you don't collect that Social Security money you are paying them all your lifetime. But many U.S. cattle farmers still routinely use antibiotics, often for months on end. Their use and overuse risk enabling bacteria to develop resistance, meaning the drugs stop working. So, again, I want to describe the scenario here. Antibiotics, right? They fight bacteria, right? There's all kinds of different antibiotics, right, that fight all kinds of different bacteria. A lot of, again, also what needs to be understood, there are good bacteria, bad bacteria in your body right now. Trillions, and I'm not joking, look it up. Trillions of bacteria are living inside of you right now. Right now. Now, again, if you eat meat in the United States, it's probably bad bacteria that causes inflammation. If you try to take care of your diet and you eat, lots of fibrous materials, you probably have more often good bacteria. What is good bacteria? Well, good bacteria, one of the easiest ways to know if you got some good bacteria, and again, good is in the sense that it forms a symbiotic relationship with you. You and the bacteria are working together to help each other, right? That's what we define as good. One of the ways you can know if you got good bacteria going on, how often do you fart? Just throwing that out there. What are farts? A lot of people might not know this. Farts are the bacteria in your intestinal tract eating and producing gas that, again, goes out of your body. That's them. That's their shit. Where do you think the gas comes from? Comes from the bacteria. Now, again, bad bacteria introduces inflammation into your system. It fucks you up. What does inflammation do? It causes leaky gut. What is a leaky gut? That sounds gross, but it is what it sounds. When bad bacteria inflame your intestinal tract, what they can do is they can go through the intestinal tract into other parts of your body, and then that can lead to bacterial infections. So I'm just throwing that out there. Now, I want to talk about food a little bit more because I love doing food segments. But I also finished a book that I want to talk about. I finished this book. It's called Metabolical. I recommend buying this book if you're a reader. I just finished it this morning. This book goes into a lot of detail and depth on how food in this country essentially fucks you up. It's just how it is, right? I highly recommend this book. I just finished it this morning. I personally am someone that cares a lot about food and food quality, and I want more people to do so. So I highly recommend buying or reading, pirating it if you want, Metabolical. It goes really in depth in arguments on how food destroys your body, processed food specifically, and how it can create all kinds of diseases such as inflammation, such as diabetes, etc. Right. And again, what happens when you have all these diseases is you spend more money on pharmaceuticals, you spend more money going to the doctor. Right. So again, I just want to give a shout out, Metabolical, buy this book. So with that being said, I'm going to put it on the floor right next to me. Again, meat in the United States is not regulated really at all. Now, again, if you live in New Zealand, you live in fucking Japan or whatever, and you're eating some highly, grass-fed, woo, cowies, and you got dang natural causes, and you got that, woo, then, you're probably okay. Let's be honest, you're probably okay. But if you eat meat in the United States, you are killing yourself. That's suicide. It's suicide. It's suicide. If you eat sugar, that's suicide. Sugar is the most dangerous and most addictive drug in America today. Now, again, this segment is about meat, so I want to focus on meat specifically. During the Trump administration, did you know this? Donald Trump slashed FDA regulations on pork processing, right? Slashed the FDA workforce when it comes to inspections on all meat, right? And what did this result in? It results in more inedible parts being in your food, parts that, again, cannot be digested, are not nutritious, and can damage your body. It results in more infections, bacteria, other kinds of life forms living in the meat. Think about ground beef. If you've got a steak, right? And again, meat is not food. Now, again, I know if you live in New Zealand and you eat a burger, I think it's morally reprehensible, but it's not health reprehensible. You're not necessarily killing yourself. And so I have less of a problem with that. But again, I personally am a vegetarian. I don't eat meat because I think it's just a bad thing. I think it's bad for your health, and I also think it's morally reprehensible. But, ground beef. What is ground beef versus a steak? A steak is a slab of meat. So, if something is going to infect, if a disease, a bacteria, whatever, is going to take hold in your meat product, in a steak, you've got very limited surface area for the disease, the bacteria, whatever, a virus, if they want. Very limited surface area for proliferation. Ground beef is the exact opposite, right? If a bacterial infection were to take place in ground beef, they've got much more room to grow because they don't have to go through, like imagine you got one door, right? That's a steak. You got one door, and let's say that it's like a metal door and you can't get in. Or let's say, it's a strong metal door, but let's say you find a way to bust in, but then in there is like another, it's like a fucking, there's like spikes coming out of the walls, it's like one of those fucking things, right? Whereas with ground beef, there is no door, and there are no traps, and they can just walk right in. That's why you need to cook meat thoroughly. Why? Because if you don't, you can die. Think about it. A lot of people eat steaks raw or, semi-raw, whatever, and that's a lot less risky than eating ground beef raw? Jesus! Right? Fuck! You are basically killing yourself. If you eat meat in America, you're killing yourself. It's just that simple. Now again, let's talk about the antibiotics again, because that's what this article is about. And again, I am being affected by this. All the vegans in America and in the world are being affected by this. The United States. Now again, We live in an international world. If you are in New Zealand and you're eating that fucking whatever goddamn grass-fed garbage, okay? Because I know New Zealand has good regulations when it comes to meat. That's why I usually use New Zealand as an example. You are going to be affected by this. Because what can happen in these factory farms is bacterial, infections and stuff. They can infect the cows. They can proliferate. They can develop resistance to these antibiotics. And then all they need to do is one super resistant bacteria in one cow gets transferred to one beef patty that someone doesn't cook thoroughly enough. Off to the races. We got a new super fucking goddamn virus thing going on. It's not a virus, it's bacteria. But that's all it takes. Think of the risk involved in this. And again, someone could get infected with this highly resistant and infectious bacteria. And then they go on a plane and they see their cousin that lives in London. And then their cousin gets this bacterial infection. Then they go to the doctor's office, but they don't wear a mask. And then someone else picks it up. And then, again, this is how pandemics start. This is how pandemics start from meat production and consumption. If you eat meat in the United States, you are killing yourself. It's just that simple. Now, again, my opinion, meat production should stop all over the world. I think meat is evil. I think murdering animals for entertainment, because that's what eating meat is. It's not nutritious, really. I mean, again, grass-fed burgers, whatever, that's more nutritious than what... In America, meat is not nutritious at all. It's a net negative by an extreme margin on nutrients, right? But again, how do you produce meat? In New Zealand, how do you produce meat in America? What do cows eat? They eat vegetables. Why don't we skip a step? Most vegetable production in America goes to feeding livestock. Why? Why don't we just fucking skip a step and feed it to the people? Think about it. Think about it. So I'm just throwing this out there. People, you really need to fucking pay attention to what you eat. I know. Oh, the bitch outlaws yelling at me over my diet. Stay triggered, get mad, and take your health seriously. Why? Like, unless you're suicidal. And again, if you eat meat in the United States, you are suicidal. That's a fact. That's a fact. Now, if you're getting like an imported steak at like a fancy restaurant in like downtown Washington, D.C., that's a different story. Still, I have an ethical and moral concern with that, but not as much of a health concern. But again, eating sugar, eating meat is suicide. It's a drug addiction. Meat is a drug. Sugar is a drug. And if you think, oh, I can't stop eating it, you are an addict. What is food? Food is something you put in your body that provides necessary nutrition for your body to function. Meat, under that definition, is not food because it does not help your body function. Sugar, not food. There is no reason at all. You could go your entire life without ever having any sugar ever, and you will be perfectly healthy and fine. Why? Because it's not necessary, and neither is meat. These are drugs. You are an addict. Now again, if you're having chicken wings, and it's like once a month, I'm not here to say that you're an evil motherfucker. I'm not here to, but people, they literally think that eating meat is like a daily part of a healthy diet. They literally think that. Like, they think that, like, yeah, I had some sausage for breakfast, got dang bacon, that's, good dang, They eat meat every day. What do you say to someone that drinks alcohol every day? Oh, you're an alcoholic. What do you say to someone that smokes cigarettes every day? Oh, you're addicted. But I'm not allowed to say to someone that eats sugar every day or eats meat every day that they're an addict. I get made fun of. I get attacked. I get insulted when I just state the obvious. You're allowed to call me an alcoholic because I drink every day, which I haven't been recently, but I'm just saying. You're allowed to do that, but I can't say you're a drug addict for your drug of choice. Now, again, I'm not saying that being, that consuming drugs is bad. But again, if you consume a drug every day, it might be a problem. Now, there's some drugs that you can consume every day, and it's not really a problem. For all the trans ladies out there, estrogen, consume it every day. Not really a problem. Hey, I'm just saying. Any medication that you might be on. Coffee. I drink a cup, maybe 2 cups a day. Not really a problem. Now, if I were drinking 5 cups a day, that would be a problem. Now, again, if you're eating meat once a week, that's a healthy relationship with a drug that you choose to have. That's fine with me, right? Again, I wouldn't do it personally. I don't eat meat. But again, if you eat meat every day, you are a drug addict. It's that simple. Now, again, I'm not saying that to make you feel like you're a terrible person, because I don't think being a drug addict is a bad thing. I don't. In a lot of instances, I think being a drug addict is neutral. Sometimes being a drug addict can be good. I'm addicted to coffee, and I think it helps my life and improves my life overall. So, I'm just saying, but you need to understand, food in the United States of America, what is called food at the grocery store is not actually food, it's drugs. Hot Pockets, not food, drugs. Ground beef, not food, drugs. Fruit Loops, not food, drugs. These are drugs. The grocery store is a drug dealer. That's what it is. It's like going to a weed dispensary. It's like going to a liquor store. It's like going to a gas station to buy cigarettes. These are drug dealers. It's just legal, and it's not really regulated, but it's legal. So again, I just want to say this. You should reduce your meat consumption. That's my thing. Now again, once a week, I respect it. I don't like it, but I respect it. If you're eating meat multiple times a week, I suggest you cool down. If you're eating meat multiple times a day, and let's be honest, let's be real, you are not getting imported grass-fed beef. You are not buying the $40 a pound good stuff. You're not. I know you're not. You know you're not. Don't bullshit me. Don't bullshit yourself. You're buying that garbage. You might buy something a little more expensive than the F-tier shit, but it's still F-tier. It's just in a slightly different packaging, and they're lying to you about it being any better off just to make an extra buck. Hey, I'm a food addict. I'm a sugar addict. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie to y'all. I had candy on Halloween, and I had a bunch of candy left over, and I ate the fuck out of it the following weeks. Hey, I'm not going to lie. I went on a bender. I went on a candy bender for about a week and a half. I'm not going to lie to you. I'll be honest. I'm coming clean. And now I'm trying to get that shit back in order. I'm taking a break from sugar. I'm taking a break from, carb-heavy foods in general as well. Just to kind of, I want to do a reset. But again, I'm not saying this to make you feel bad. I'm saying this so that you can help yourself. Because a lot of people, they genuinely don't know. They don't know what they're doing when it comes to food. They just don't know. No one taught them. There's no course in school. Do they teach you about healthy food in school? No. In elementary school? No. Middle school? No. High school? No. College? Probably not, unless you specifically seek that out. And then even then, college courses are usually bought and paid for by the food industry, so a lot of the times they're teaching you some good stuff, but a lot of disinformation. So, hey, I'll eat candy every now and then. I have a bad relationship with drugs. I do. Some of them are problems for me. I've had problems with alcohol in the past. I've had problems with food in the past. I've had problems with, all kinds of drugs in the past. And in the present. And probably in the future. That said, being aware, being cognizant that something might become a problem helps it not become a problem. If I take a couple months off of drinking, and let's say like a social gathering comes along. I know there's a pandemic, but let's say there's a, it's a holiday or it's a birthday and I want to have a glass of wine or whatever. I know, hey, got to be careful. I don't want to turn into a daily alcoholic consumption person again, or if I do, let's say I want to take a week. Usually I take the week of Christmas and I drink every day because I don't like Christmas. I know that once the week is over, I got to stop. And hey, sometimes I have a problem stopping. And sometimes it gets difficult. And I know that. I'm aware that how addiction works. I know. So again, I'm not saying this to try to bully people. I'm not bullying people. I want you to be better. I want you to help yourself. I want you to live longer. Why? Well, honestly, it's kind of selfish. I want you to live longer and better lives, and then I want you to tell other people to live longer and better lives. And then that way my ideas prosper and they spread throughout society. So, hey, I'm allowed to be selfish. I want you to better yourself and to better others. Oh, look at me. But again, this is bad. Like, I want you to understand, this is bad. This is bad. This is something like a 5 to 10 years later, we're fucked kind of scenario. This is bad. This is bad. It's just bad. And again, even if you don't eat meat, you might still be affected by this. Let's say 15 years from now, there's a super bacterial strain and it infects me. I haven't eaten meat in 17 or 18 years at that point. But the bacteria is resistant to the drugs, so I die. Even though I'm a vegan or vegetarian at that point. I'm a vegetarian now, but I could see myself being a vegan in 15 years, right? But anyway. Hey, I don't want to get a fucking bacterial infection. That shit's fucking scary. So, throwing that one out there for you. Food for thought. But once again, what's the definition of food? Fuel for the body provides essential nutrients so your body can perform. Meat does not do that. It doesn't. Sugar doesn't do that. It just doesn't. So, think about it. And also look at these precious babies. They look like my doggy. This is what my doggy looks like. Would you eat my dog? You sick fucks. Thank you, Cloud. Got 2 super chats here. $2 and 1111. What is 1111? Is that like a numerological thing? Does meat increase chances of colon cancer? I know meat increases cancer risk as a whole, but I don't know about colon specifically. Also, once again, I just want to say, Metabolical, buy this book. You'll like it. It's about 400 or so pages. It's like 380 pages. I just finished it this morning. I've been trying to read a couple pages every day for the last couple weeks or month or so. So I recommend it. If a lot of the stuff that I talk about on my show, you can find out a lot more in this book. So I just want to say I recommend this book. Metabolical, came out last year. Check it out. But anyway, that's the show for today. Trying my best. I'm taking Friday off. Now I was going to say I don't know what day it is, but someone told me Thanksgiving is today, and I know Thanksgiving is on Thursday, so from that I can guarantee that today is Thursday. But if I didn't know it was Thanksgiving, I wouldn't, because this whole week I've been like off by a day or weird as shit. But anyway, tomorrow I'm not doing a show tomorrow. I'm taking it off. Feel free to speculate. Feel free to speculate openly. I don't mind. I will not answer or anything, but I like when people speculate about my doings. But anyway, I'll be back Saturday, and we'll see what happens. Maybe we'll talk about some Black Friday mass shooting. We'll see. Does anyone want to place a bet? Anyone? Let's bet. Who in here thinks there's going to be a mass shooting on Black Friday? Hey! Come on, let's make this interesting. I'm going to bet 69 Dogecoin that there's going to be a mass shooting tomorrow. So if anyone wants to take that bet, 69 Dogecoin, put it up or shut up. But anyway, if you don't think there's going to be a mass shooting, how many mass shootings? Okay, we can do, it's like the sports betting, like, how many mass shootings, and then also what the average kills between the mass shootings, and then also the kills per mass shooting. We can bet on all of these things. So I'm saying 2 shootings. I'm going to say 8 and 36. Those are my odds. So, hopefully, obviously, I hope there's no mass shootings, but, it's America. So, there you go. I hope everybody has a great day. Feel free to share my videos if you find them to be important. Again, my goal with this show, it's 2 prongs. 1, it's a blog. I love the blog. I love to talk about what I think about. It helps me process my own thoughts, helps me keep my head clear. It's good therapy for myself. Now, again, I'm still a fucking mental health crisis lunatic, right? So it's not, I need some more stuff too. But that's number 1. And the second prong is I want to teach people the things that I know, the things that I like, right? The things that I want other people to do. Like, for example, I want people to play Doom, the video game. Subscribe to my Doom channel. Watch the videos. Maybe if you watch a video a day and then a year you might play the game. Who knows? I don't know. I want people to read books that I like. Go read this book. I want people to, watch movies I like. I want people to eat food that helps them. I want people to live long. And that way, they'll be able to give me super chats for a longer period of time. I say, hey, I know I got a bunch of 60-year-olds in my audience. Y'all motherfuckers are fucking knocking on heaven's door over there, man. You eat a little bit better, maybe I'll get a couple more years of super chats. Unless, let's compromise, put me in your will, and then maybe I'll let you eat some meat every now and then. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I do appreciate it. And goodbye.
And then they have cans of soup. And they throw the cans of soup. That's better than a brick because you can't throw a brick, it's too heavy. But a can of soup, you can really put some power into that, right? And then when they get caught, they say, no, this is soup for my family. They're so innocent. This is soup for my family. It's incredible. And you have people coming over with bags of soup, big bags of soup, and they lay it on the ground, and the anarchists take it and they start throwing it at our cops, at our police. And if it hits you, that's worse than a brick because it's got force. It's the perfect size. It's like made perfect. And when they get caught, they say, no, this is just soup for my family. And then the media says, this is just soup. These people are very, very innocent. They're innocent people.
No, seriously, hot sauce. I've been eating a lot of hot sauce, a lot of raw peppers and hot sauce.
I still like beer, but I did not drink beer to the point of blacking out.
I'm about to be 34 and I have no family. My dad had 2 kids by the time he was 27.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man. You know what the problem is, though? It's definitely not me.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's everybody else.